Good morning, Bev Hepting, the Message Maestro here. I wanted to pop in to your social feeds to talk to you about why you do things. Okay, now I'm a public speaking coach, so I'm talking about when you do a video or a podcast or anything that requires you talking to somebody else. So let's start with podcast first, because majority of podcast means interviewing somebody else. And that's great. How many of you stop to consider if the person you're interviewing has a clear message that resonates with yours? You see, so many times people just try to get high hitters and big names onto their podcast because they know that will grow their following. Totally get that, totally understand it. However, in order for people to stay hearing your message, to stay within your tribe and follow your story, you need to ensure that that person you're interviewing is either resonating with you, or you create those questions and draw out the information you need from them that are going to really impact your listeners. See, that's the difference. They're not your guests' listeners that matter as much as your listeners, because they're the people that will stay faithful to you. Yes, 9 times out of 10, your guest is going to share that with their followers, but their followers are loyal to them, if you see what I mean. So your job is to ensure that you're giving great value to your tribe, your community, your followers, whatever you want to call them, but that's your job. So if you're interviewing somebody, before you do anything, even before you book them or ask them to speak, just sit down and think about your core message, your story that your tribe and community are following. And one, does the guest speaker also follow that sort of message and philosophy? Or two, can you ask the right questions to draw out the information that your clients need to hear, want to hear, or that will add value to your followers? And I don't think we think enough about that. We rush headlong in. Often when we're doing podcasts and we're interviewing people, we've done some research, we've looked at their business, we understand things. A lot of their story will be within that business. But we tend to talk and ask questions about, why did you start doing what you do? Tell us about what you do, the journey, all of that. Sometimes you just need to dive a little deeper. So for instance, if you're interviewing somebody who's really hot on building communities or social media or something like that, and you want to get really good value for your clients, try to get your guest to delve a little bit deeper in terms of not just the success, but the challenges they had getting there, because some of that will be of absolute value to your listeners if they're at the beginning of their journey. So think about your community, your audience, your listeners, and what they need. Remember what I always say, it's not about you. It's not always about the guest, but it is always about your followers, your tribe, your community, your future clients. It's always about them. And really think about those questions that you're going to ask this guest and dive a little deeper. Do not be afraid to ask quite a forward question. Now, I know a lot of people I interview will ask for the questions to start with, and I'll be very honest with them, and I will give them an outline of the sorts of questions I'm going to ask them. And I do sometimes warn them that I might ask questions because of the answer they've given me to another question. And that's why, although you're interviewing and you're speaking, you have to listen. because that's where you find the nuggets that your client audience listeners need. It is not a simple case of I'm going to interview the Queen, get a lot of followers then, for the sake of interviewing the Queen. I would love to interview the Queen, but I would love to know how it felt having to take on the mantle of the throne at such a young age. And I would want to delve more into that. So think about when you're talking to any, and this is whether it's podcast, whether it's a video interview, whatever it may be. First question is, what can they give to my listeners, clients, community, tribe, whatever you're calling them? What have they got that my following need to hear? Or what questions can I ask to pull out that information? Think about it, and please do contact me if you have any questions around that. If you want to raise the level of your interviewing and ask more in-depth questions and have the confidence to get away with it. And you can find me all over social media. My contact details are all the W's, bevhepting.com, or leave a message if you're watching this on the Dub platform. Go away and have a think about it. And just remember, it's not about you. It's about the people you serve. Bye.